Right, for today's steam video, which I'm doing a number of over the Christmas period, I intend to run this rather attractive little SE1. This dates from 1948, and it's the only SE1 you find with the regulator handle on them, or on it rather, basically because it shared the same engine frame, a hot stamped brass engine frame with the SE2 engine of the same period. They were only in this form for probably about a year or so, or thereabouts. Made up the St Mary's Road factory before Mamod moved to the Camden Street in 1949. This particular engine has been steamed a number of times. It runs rather well. It's using a 3-wick lamp. It's totally original. There's no refurbishment taken into account on this one at all. It's driving a relatively period correct set of tools, so the brass wheeled hammer and power punch both have cast iron bodies, as does the grinder and the polisher. Both were cast iron bodies. Now these date from probably the last days of the St Mary's Row factory. They do have raised bases on them, because by that time, certainly with the move to Camden Street, Malins Engineers did have some limited pressing facilities then. The line shaft is a little bit later. It's about 1953. It's got a red oval deco, and as you can see, it's got a Mazak flywheel. But again, it sort of fits in more or less spot on. It does have Mazak pedestal supports, but I could swap it around, and I do have a brass wheeled version with cast iron supports if we wanted to be absolutely period correct, but it looks nice nonetheless. The particular engine, I say it's been steamed a number of times. It doesn't have superheating. That particular feature didn't really appear until 1949 when Malins introduced the cheaper pressed steel long engine frames, and then they decided that the steam pipe could loop underneath the boiler to give a small amount of superheating effect. All the tools here, as you can see, have convenient oiling points for the long bearings, including the actual the engine itself. You can see the oiling point there. Which makes it very convenient, makes them run very, very smooth. The whole ensemble is bolted together on standard Meccano L girder brackets, whatever we want to call them, and then obviously this is all bolted together. I've got a tendency to use excuse me, the Allen key type bolts. I find them very easier to move stuff around than, let's say, the more period correct slotted head screws. I mean, I know a few idiots have sort of said, oh look, he's using the wrong type of nuts and bolts, but these actually work a lot better, especially as I tend to move tools and bits and pieces around from time to time. So there we have it. I've just gone around and oiled everything. I'm just going to just check the boiler and check the safety valve and the overflow plug seal to see, make sure everything's fine, and then say on this sunny afternoon again, it's been very blowy, very blustery, very rough out overnight, but at the moment we seem to have a lull in the weather, so we're getting some nice afternoon light on the lovely tool workshop here. So I'm hoping that this little fella will drive this without too much fuss, and depending on how he runs, I'll probably bring this one to Steam Toys in Action in Leicester on February the 2nd, because you know, you get a lot of discerning collectors that like to come along and see some of the sort of the rarer stuff, and the stuff that doesn't necessarily always get sort of shown as much as maybe all the SE4s and all the pre-war stuff, and this stuff is just as important in the overall Malins Engineers sort of historical reference. So if you just bear with me, I'm going to get some oil and some meths ready, and get some hot water into that little boiler, and we'll see what this little fella can deliver.